All right, everyone, welcome back to episode 7 of Barton Means Business.
Hard to believe, but yep.
Yeah, I know we've taken a little bit of a break, but it's been busy, as we always say. But no, really, it has.
Well,
I
no, the
promise.
holidays, that sort of thing, end of semester, exams, presentations, papers, all that stuff that you find in colleges around the globe. We have the same at Barton College. So the School of Business and Innovation has been very busy the last few weeks. So I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving and they're looking forward to a great holiday break as well. We have lots to talk about today in our update and our recap.
Absolutely, especially with having taken a little bit more time between episodes than we normally like to. So let's get right to it.
Sure. So this recap, this time of Barton Means Business, we're going to be talking about all sorts of things, particularly as we continue to do outreach to our community. And our community includes our alumni, the area around Wilson, North Carolina, the several counties around Wilson, North Carolina, and to business leaders who work with us as we continue to build and strengthen our offerings at the School of Business and Innovation. It's a time for conversations, and I think I'll just kind of stop there. I think that's going to be our word of the week, by the way. I think conversations. We may have an alternate choice, by the way. We seem to be having two, maybe three different words of the week. So I'm going to kind of hold myself since we're so early in the conversation here, but I'll say conversations may be the word of the week because that's what I've been doing a lot of is having conversations with our administration, our president, but also our alumni, business leaders in the community.
That's great. Well, which conversation do you want to tell us about first?
I'd love to tell you about the trip that I took to Charlotte. You may not know that I'm on one of the committees with the North Carolina Biotech group. And I have been for on and off for several years, but I've just reconnected with them. So we had a visit to Charlotte and we had a visit with the what's called the Pearl down there, which is a new facility. And also we visited the Leon Levine Health Sciences building as part of the Central Piedmont Community College. And I was just really impressed. And I walked away really excited about the health sciences and life sciences capabilities in North Carolina, not just Charlotte. It's just really great and exciting to see how the business of biotech has grown so much just in the past few years in North Carolina. And as part of what we do in the Wilson area, we have this area we call the Pharma Crescent, or maybe Biopharma Crescent, something like that. But the crescent kind of extends from around just south of Raleigh, probably Clayton to be specific, and it swoops all the way around over to East Carolina University over in Greenville. And along that crescent, you have so many biopharma companies in North Carolina. And we're very excited about the possibilities of working with them and others who want to make North Carolina their home.
That's great. And I think y'all have some more things planned around health and life sciences and around degrees.
I'm looking forward to having one of the other deans at Barton, David Dahmer, Dr. Dahmer, to come over and be our guest speaker coming up and talk about the ways that the health and life sciences elements of Barton College intersect with the School of Business and Innovation. So I'm very excited to see how we can do those together. And again, back to conversations, the follow-on conversations that we have around health, life sciences, business, are all very interesting, and they extend beyond North Carolina even, and they kind of a global conversation about the importance and the value of a liberal arts education as part of, what you would consider mostly scientists, right? So if I said just biotech to someone, maybe the first thought isn't the business side of it, it's more of the science part of it. Someone who is working with innovative solutions regarding cancer treatments, that sort of thing. But the science or the medical side of things. The initial response isn't the business side, but I can tell you from experience, it's the business side that makes those other things happen. So I'm very excited about Barton College and specifically our School of Business and Innovation being a part of those conversations, talking to folks that are involved in private equity, talking to folks that are involved in bringing new business to North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like you said, people's minds tend to go toward lab techs and things like that. And not too far from where I live, there are a lot of biotech companies just in the RTP area. So there's really a lot to be said about those companies and what they're doing. They can't run without the business side of things.
Well, and you know what I'm excited about in particular is that, yes, RTP, what a great track record going back several decades. But if you look across all of North Carolina, including Eastern North Carolina, which is where we are at Barton College, and even following over to the coast where my colleague Jim Roberts is doing some amazing things with entrepreneurs there, and going over to Asheville where you've got some really interesting science going on with brewers, oddly enough, and just amazing technologies. What my grandmother would call wildcrafting has turned into a billion-dollar industry on just figuring out how to use some of the herbs and the nutraceuticals that are out there. And that's happening in the western part of our state. So I really enjoy working with North Carolina Biotech because they give me a view of what's happening all across the state, not just in biotech, but the business of bio, the business of technology, the business of everything in North Carolina. So it's a very exciting time to be involved. And just as a final note on that, it's really great to see Charlotte being kind of vaulted into this area as well, because for so many years, even when I was helping build the North Carolina Research Campus just outside of Charlotte in Kannapolis, North Carolina, all those years ago, it was a slow starter, to be honest with you. And it's really nice to see Charlotte take its place in the area of bio and biotech. It really is exciting.
Yeah, and for those listening who may not know, your background, of course, Charlotte is your hometown, so I know you have, extra little bit of wanting your hometown to see it to grow in. I mean, not that it's small or anything, but see it grow in technology areas, especially. It's known for banking, of
Right.
course, but I'd say the Raleigh area is more known for other sorts of high tech. So
That is correct. That is correct. And if you look at my career, a lot of my career was in Charlotte. And so if you look at, what are the industries in Charlotte? Well, I've kind of been around all of those, whether it's been retail or whether it's been banking or even energy. So Duke Energy, what a great resource that is for North Carolina.
absolutely. All right. So let's see what else is going on. I think, why don't we talk about your dry run of the CMMC champions and maybe talk a little bit about what that is and then what y'all are doing there.
Well, sure. As you may recall from our last conversations, we were talking about creating initiatives as part of our Dean's Innovation Ecosystem. And these are certificates, if you will, that we're working on both from an academic side for academic credit, but also for general education or continuing education, that sort of thing. And one of the things that we've come out early with is this thing around CMMC, which for those of you that don't know that acronym, it's Cybersecurity Maturity Model. And it's something that the Department of Defense was working on for several years. And some colleagues and I were working on some training for around that. So this would be Ebby from our friends at Captiva Solutions out of Maryland. And we did a dry run of what we call a champions course. And now I'll give you this much. It's not your typical cybersecurity training course. It's designed for executives who need to sponsor and champion such things in their organizations. And I think that's a really great place for Barton College, especially the School of Business and Innovation, to play a part. It's not a technical course. It's not a technical class. It's not a technical approach. It's a business first approach. It's what is the business value of going down this road with regard to cybersecurity, particularly the CMMC, because it's required for those who want to do business with the federal government. So we're excited about our role in all this. And what was funny about it, Becky, was that I got a chance to do, during the dry run, probably a 6 or 8 hour session in 2 hours. Now, I wouldn't recommend that for anybody, but I was talking so quickly. It was amazing. But we wanted to get through all the data and all the modules with our test audience just to see if we can do it, number one, and number two, if they worked and that sort of thing. You do this when you create new material. So this was the first step of many, but we were very excited to have that first step here in the last couple of weeks. So good stuff.
Great. Well, speaking of the Dean's Innovation Ecosystem, we had a really quick meetup to kind of get all of our mentors together. And that was really nice to get to have everyone talk a little bit about our emerging initiatives and have a chance to chat. And you got to tell all of the mentors a little bit more about what's going on with the ecosystem.
It was really great because, as you know, Igor Gorlatov has been helping us put a lot of this together, as well as you. You've been kind of behind the scenes making all this work as well. But last Monday was a first opportunity I had to chat with all the mentors and the coaches that have volunteered to be a part of these emerging initiatives. And it was great because it wasn't just about cybersecurity. It wasn't just about AI. It wasn't just about finance. It wasn't just about gaming. It was about everything that we've been talking about here over the past several months. So what we're starting to see as I kind of enter in my 5th month here at Barton College and the School of Business and Innovation is that we're starting to see this kind of coalescing of capabilities, this blending of ideas in a way that helps us take that next step. So, in fact, I would love to hear more about you and what your initiative is doing, Becky. So, tell us what initiative you're working on, and we'll talk a bit about that.
I'm working on the AI literacy certificate. And what is great about that is I have some mentors who are helping brainstorm about the audience and what the content of their certificate will be. And so, what I've been doing this past week is interviewing people who will be the potential audience for this certificate. Really wonderful conversations with several people. Some might be in technology, some might not be anywhere near a technology career at all. So they run the gamut, and it's been fascinating to hear their different reasons for why they want to learn about AI but just haven't yet. And so it's really helping inform what this course and micro credential is going to look like. And so I'm having a lot of fun doing that, but also talking with the mentors and going through this with them and having them help just kind of shape things.
I'm glad you landed on shape because I've been having conversations as well. So we've been working simultaneously. So you've been working with your group of colleagues and our mentors and coaches. And I've been working with business leaders, folks that are interested in helping grow similar things at Barton and in the Eastern North Carolina community as well. And I think we have to go back to that model we talked about earlier, the listen model. We're sort of on a listening tour. Again, remember LIS, learn, interpret, shape. So we're learning and interpreting and shaping what we're hearing before we go off full bore into transform mode, which is the T. Because we do those 4 things correctly, we'll do the last 2, the E and the N, very well, which is that learn, interpret, shape, transform, and evolve, and then nurture that. I'll add to this a little bit too, because I was excited about, and just talking to someone the other day about this, helping to alleviate the fear that comes with folks that are trying to learn AI and are trying to deal with AI in their respective business environments. There are folks out there that are really genuinely scared that AI is going to take their job. And I think we have a very interesting role to play in all this at Barton College because it's not about the technology. In fact, you and I both come from technology backgrounds. My entire career has been mostly technology. But I think where we land at Barton College is the impact of those technologies, those AI tools that are emerging, for example. And I love what you guys are doing in the initiative to help us learn more about the tools, but not just for the sake of using tools, but for the fact that we're going to use those tools to help do our jobs a little bit differently. Procurement, for example, or supply chain, for another example. We're going to use AI in new and different ways. And I think if we can help alleviate that fear, that's going to be half the battle. So I'm excited about this kind of certificate that we're developing. It's not just about learning new tools. It's about the application of those tools. It's about the impact of those tools. But it's also about helping people gain confidence and negate the fear and get over the fear and help them explore the possibilities of using AI in their world. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, and I think one of the really interesting things that I'm hearing is that, they understand that it's just going to be a part of work from now on, and that the difference between them knowing it or not knowing it is going to be important if they search for a new job in the next even just year or two. And that if they have those skills, it will help them. And if they don't have those skills, someone who does is going to potentially edge them out. So it's not even about AI taking their job. It is about someone who has those skills taking their job or edging them out in the competition for a job. Because a lot of the jobs that the people I'm talking to so far are seeing, especially there are some of them that I've talked to who are looking for jobs, they're finding that these job descriptions out there are asking for AI skills in some way, shape, or form. So they're already seeing that I need to at least have these skills if I'm going to even get seen, get to talk to somebody, get to have an interview, not get tossed out from the ATS right away.
Right. You're talking about the applicant tracking system
Mm-hmm.
that has been so daunting for folks that are applying for jobs online, and all they want to do is have a conversation. And there's that word again, conversation. Yet some of these online tools prevent them from even having the initial conversation. So people are resorting to putting whatever they can in a resume or some sort of document, hoping beyond hope, hoping the applicant tracking system will find a word somewhere in their resume or portfolio that will get them a real interview, not just a virtual interview. As we look at some of these AI tools and these AI certifications and these capabilities that people seemingly want, I think top on that list for us, and I think this is where we excel, is literacy in helping people get to a point where they can talk about in a conversation about not just what AI is and what it isn't, what it can do and what it doesn't do well, and talk about what the human in the loop can do and why that's valuable. And if they can be that human in the loop, I think there's where we need to be for the next phase of all of this.
And it's also about how you apply the learning, because one of the conversations I had, one of the people said, I can watch YouTube videos and I can listen to things, but they're just telling me about the tool.
Yeah.
I need some hands-on stuff. And that's actually what we are planning on doing, is having some experiential learning. It's one of your favorite phrases, but to really actually do some applied learning in this course and teach people how to use the tools. Of course, get them familiar with what's out there, but also teach them how to use it, how to apply it to their job, their life, to make sure that they're competitive. Because right now, regardless of what you think about AI, whether you love it or hate it, or you're, lukewarm about it, the jobs are asking for knowledge around it. So, in order for people to be competitive, they need to have skills in some shape. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make sure that people can be competitive for where we are right now.
Right. And I go back to that word conversations. Folks, have a conversation. If it's not Barton College, have a conversation with someone you know and you respect with regard to what AI is doing in your community, in your organization, or your vertical, your job. I think about Dr. Scott Gerard, who is doing some amazing things with composite AI. And then Melanie McLaughlin is doing some amazing things with just helping people learn more about what AI, particularly generative AI, can do in their communities. So reach out, talk to folks. And if you need someone to meet, reach out to us. We'll connect you with someone.
Yeah. And since we're on the topic of AI, let's talk a little bit about your upcoming article, Connecting in the Age of AI.
Yeah, so it's in the can, as we say in the professional world. I love talking these terms with you. But I was asked to write an article for the local paper in Wilson, and it is done. I will land on the basic elements. I talk about reskilling and upskilling, and that's nothing really new. You're going to see that in almost every article about AI, generative AI, and how it's important, just like we've been talking about, this idea of making sure our skills are up to date, again, upskilling, or reskilling, like learning new things. But what I land on is this idea of rediscovering skills. And I won't give it all away, Becky, but I'll say this. The things that you learned when you had your first job, the things that you learned when you were young and so green that you didn't even think that you were learning anything, you did. And those things will help you with your work with AI as you kind of proceed. I'm excited about this article. I think you're going to learn a lot from that, and I'd love to get your opinion on all this.
Yeah, looking forward to getting to link that when it comes out. I've read it, of course, but as I do most of that stuff. But yes, we'll have another conversation about it. There's that word again. When it does come out, so we can talk a little bit more about it in depth.
Absolutely. Well, hey, let's talk about what's coming up, because I think I'd love to end our conversation today with some of the things that are happening around the campus and what the students are doing with their presentations. And I got to tell you this, I'm particularly excited to be a fly on the wall in the back of the room in some of these classes where they're doing presentations. And in some of these classes, if it's statistics or if it's marketing or if it's even our Business 101 class, I'm very excited to see how our students have progressed over the course of a semester. And it's just exciting to be at Heinz Hall at the School of Business and Innovation. It's just really great to be there. We do have various holiday events coming up here at Barton College. I will say that we have a tree. And I really hope you do at least one clip. And the one clip that you show is our poor little tree. It started out as a kind of a Charlie Brown kind of Christmas tree with garland and everything else. But I'm anxious to see what the students do this week as they go through exams and they can pop by it and they can make an adjustment here, make an adjustment there. So I'm hoping that we have enough time to show you the before and the after, because I'm excited about that. Finally, on this, Becky, I'll say that because of exams and we do those things at the end of the semester, we also have time for celebration as well. So we're having our Innovation Awards later this week. So hopefully we'll have some updates for you before we finish up for 2025. Maybe we'll have one more session before we go into next year. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm happy to say goodbye to everybody right now, or we can just have one more chat here. But it's been a busy couple of weeks.
It sure has. And really looking forward to, having a little bit of time off, time with families and stuff. And well, there is actually one more thing. When are you going to write your holiday letter?
Well, he's talking about the holiday letter that I've been doing. I think it's 21 years now.
Something like that. Yeah. It's been a while.
How long have I been on this planet? I think I must have started it when I was 3 years old. It's an exciting time because it's a type of writing that's almost unusual for someone who's the dean of a college of business and innovation. But I try to do it every year where I kind of get into a different modality to write a different way, a different style. So this year, I'm not going to give away what the topic is, but I publish it every January 1st. So I'm hoping people will look for it and enjoy it and have a good, positive way to start off 2026.
And if you have never received it before, if you're unfamiliar with it, I bet you can make a comment on LinkedIn and Ken will add you to his list. All you got to do is send him a message. He loves to add new people to the mailing list. I won't ask how big your mailing list is at this point, but it's up there. You've added quite a few people over the years. So
it's been a great opportunity to, again, connect and have conversations. Because what's interesting about the holiday note is you think it's just some guy out there, saying something and that's it. But no. The value and the magic of it is when people say, "Oh," and they send me a note back, and it's about something that they saw or thought about when they read through the note, and they tell me stories that are meaningful to them. So again, it's the conversations that make it very valuable to me.
Yeah, and that reconnection with colleagues, at the end of the year, beginning of the next year. So it's kind of looking forward into the upcoming year. So that's nice to see too.
Absolutely.
All right, I think we're out of time for this week. So with that, I think we will say our goodbyes and that we will see you at least one more time this year.
Yeah, I think we'll have at least one more recap for the Barton College School of Business and Innovation, and then we'll call it a year. But what a year it's been. So again, 5 months, it's been blazingly fast, and I'm excited to see what's ahead of us. So as we're kind of slowing down for the holidays, I'll be speeding up having conversations with the community. Again, the business leaders, the alumni, the administration, the students. I'm very excited about having conversations with all of them to see what we can do in 2026 and beyond. Thanks, Becky.
Thanks, Ken. See y'all soon.